Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to my friends in the US. Let's see who's here. Hey Jenny, how's it going? How's your mom? Give people a moment to get in here and I'll get myself totally squared away. Make sure it's all working. Let's see who we got here. Good, I'm glad she's doing well. It seems like we've got spring going on, at least this week. We'll see how long that lasts, right? Do we get another round of cold and wet before it warms up for good? That seems to be how it works in the States most of the time. I don't know if anyone else is going to join us today or not, but I will get started here. Yep, I'll move that out of the way. Make sure I haven't frozen here. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I think we're good now. So, good morning. My name is Nancy Hetker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. I am originally from the US, but I have been here 1 week shy of 1 year. Yay! Today is the day that our 2019 holiday catalog is live and available for ordering for everyone, which is fantastic. It's a nice thick catalog. There are all kinds of great products in here. I can now actually open it up and show you stuff that's in here. I'm going to be doing a whole series of classes and events that feature products out of here and out of the annual catalog. Those are all available over on my website, nancysniftynotes.com. There's a classes and events tab, and that should get you all the information you need. The one thing I've gotten since the last time I showed you actual products is Brightly Gleaming? I believe that's what it's called. Brightly Gleaming, yes. Specialty Designer Series paper. I actually got that stamp set as well, but I wanted to show you this paper because it is so gorgeous. It is one side has copper foil accents on it. You can see how glimmery it is. So copper foil and then some nice stripes. So it's Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Pretty Peacock, and Very Vanilla is the neutral. So there's one sheet. Here's the Mossy Meadow with copper, and that's the reverse. It's got some pretty stars on it. How pretty is that? And that's the reverse. They're all just gorgeous. So I just wanted to take a minute and show you these. And that one's upside down, but it's got some pretty ornaments, or as they say here in Australia, baubles. And copper stars. And I just wanted to remind you that we do have copper foil sheets, which would pair with this very nicely. We have copper embossing powder. We have the new Delicata metallic inks. We have one in copper as well. I'm going to find those in here real fast because I do plan on using one later on today. If I can find it here. Anyhow, they're in here. Yeah, anyway, they're in here. There's lots of great things in there. It's very fun. There we go. But I wanted to start. Hi, Roseanne and Jennifer. I wanted to start today with talking a little bit about our paper trimmers. So if you've been following along with Stampin' Up, you probably know that they've discontinued carrying this paper trimmer. And it's all because of these cutting blades. They were having trouble with getting defective batches, with getting in enough of them in a timely manner to keep up with demand. And so they just decided we're going to go back to the drawing board and start again, and we're just not going to carry it anymore. And they, in fact, just sold out of the last batch of replacement blades, cutting blades. So I thought, and we have been told we're getting a new paper trimmer. People who saw it on the incentive trip this past July said it was awesome, and it's, well, my upline Kylie said it's the same but different. So I think it's going to have a bigger platform, the little pictures I saw of it. Anyway, Stampin' Up! Takes what they learn and they apply it when they bring out new products. So I'm very excited about the new trimmer that's coming and hoping that it's going to be everything that I love about this one and more, including more durable and easily available blades. But in the meantime, since you cannot get blades anymore and we don't have another trimmer, I thought I would take a minute or a couple minutes and talk to you about how to do a trimmer tune-up so you get the best experience you can out of the trimmer that you've got now. These tips I got from France Martin, who is, she's also known as Frenchie in the US, and she did a video with most of these tune-up tricks a couple years ago, and I posted it on my blog, but for my Aussie friends and newer friends, you may not have seen that. So I'm just going to show you some tips and tricks, and then there's also a new set of tips for how to kind of refurbish your blades as well, which I don't know if it works so well or not, but we'll find out. So anyhow, when your blade is starting to go, you'll probably notice you're getting more raggedy cuts. And there's a couple things that really help with that. One is, you probably know with just a gentle pull at the top, at each end, you can pull this bar off. And I'm going to pull the blades off. The end at the bottom has this larger slot there, and you can just pull out your blades like that. And then you may or may not know that this track comes out, and it's double-sided. There's two sides that have a groove, and then there's two sides that are flat, and that's because we used to sell a rotary attachment, and you would use the rotary attachment with the flat side, and you use the sliding trimmer on the groove side. So one thing that happens is that groove can get full of gunk, and I'm using a paintbrush with a stiff bristle, but a toothbrush, an old toothbrush works well, and you can get lots of paper dust and schmutz out of there, which is very good thing to do. Get that all out, both sides. So whichever side you put in is good. And if you don't have a paper trimmer and you don't care, I am going to make a card today. Actually, I'm going to try to make several cards, but I thought I'd go through this real fast, and then I'm going to get a lot of that cleaned out too. So the other thing you can do sometimes, if you've got you've got a big paper fleck or something in there, your pokey tool will get down in there too, and you can get stuff out. So there's that. And then a lot of times we wind up getting, like I can see I've got a bit of adhesive a couple places there. And what Frenchie recommended was using WD-40, which I'm so thrilled to carry here in Australia. It's not a given. And I've just sprayed a bit onto my cloth. And I'm just going to use that all over. And it takes that adhesive. I don't know if you can see it so well, but anything kind of gunky and adhesive-y, it just comes right off, and it's not leaving a residue or anything behind. And I just wipe it with a dry part. I'm using a microfiber cloth. You can use a paper towel. You can use, an old rag. I didn't move my big collection of rags across the ocean with me, but I do have microfiber towels that I use all the time and throw in the wash. So, and then it's also good to clean off and clean out this. I'm just going to do it a once over. A little bit more of this on there, I think. And what you'll find is that it also makes the blades run really smoothly too. Okay, that's a quick wipe on that. And then if you grab a Q-tip and spray a little WD-40 on it, you can get down in all of the grooves. I'm just doing this really fast and not super thoroughly just because I don't want to take up your whole morning doing this. And then another quick wipe. Okay. So, and then put it back on the right way. Put this blade back in first. And then the other thing that people have started talking about is, what do I do? Dump it again? Oh, there it is. Since we can't get the blades anymore, is to work on sharpening the blades. And I don't know if you can, how well you can see it. Let me look here. So people are taking nail files, and this one's got a rougher side and a smoother side, as most of them do, but an emery board or nail file, and we're just, air in a can would probably work well, Jennifer, but so I'm just going, I'm not going across the blade, I'm just going alongside it, just to think of it kind of like honing a knife. You're not necessarily sharpening it, but you're taking out imperfections in the blade. So a couple times with the rough side, a couple times with the smooth side. Dab it on here, get some of the grit off. Put it back in the right way. Snap that back in. Look how smooth and easy that goes. Let's give it a quick try here. Well, yep, that cuts pretty nicely. And the other thing I would remind you when you're using, of course it would help if I actually put the track in there, but it still cut pretty nicely. Even better. The other thing I want to remind you is a lot of times we get going with the habit of just cutting in one direction, but these blades, if you look at them, they're actually triangle shaped. So if you are sure to cut each direction, then you're not just dulling one side and leaving one side sharp. You're using it pretty evenly. The other tip that Frenchie had was when you start getting raggedy cuts, she changes out the blade, but she keeps the older blade and she uses it with our glimmer paper, because that's really, really rough on your blades. And so she said at holiday time she's using the glimmer paper quite a bit, and it can really just tear through all of your blades pretty quickly. So she finds that the ones that are making ragged cuts on the smooth cardstock still work well for the glimmer paper, and then you're not tearing through really good blades. So the other thing I wanted to tell you, while I still have a Q-tip here with WD-40 on it, is if you have, any pads, but really the newer style pads that have been out just over a year now, and you're finding they're really hard to slide this way, these Q-tips with WD-40 right in the grooves here and along the side bar really help. You can also use like a white crayon or a candle, soap, whatever you can get. But I find that and just work it back and forth a couple times. Really, it does help. I didn't have lots and lots on there anymore. So that's my other extra tip for today. Okay, any questions about trimmers, trimmer tune-ups, any of that stuff? Well, if you think of any, you can pop them up there and I'll respond to them. Hey, Nikki, I see you joined in. So for my card today, I decided I wanted to pull out Daisy Lane again. Since we are in the Christmas card season, I wanted to do a more Christmassy card. But again, here in Australia, it's summertime for Christmas. So the daisies are appropriate here as well. And I'm going to use a sentiment out of Cup of Christmas, which is the new reversible stamp set. I know I talked about this briefly before, but I'll show you again. It's designed so that you can stamp your mugs either direction, and the pattern is cut all the way through the stamp. So that's going to be pretty neat. The other thing on this one is that they've printed the images on the inside of the case, on the insert of the case, which some people are very excited about storing them. I haven't quite figured out. This is my first time using it, so I haven't quite figured out whether that's going to change what I do or not, but we'll see. So I have a concept in mind, and I've got a couple different variations on it in my head. So I thought I'd just kind of go through and see what we wind up liking. And it could be that I like all of them, and then I just have a bunch of Christmas cards ready to go. So let me start with one of them here. This is some Cherry Cobbler cardstock, and I'm just using my embossing buddy on it to start. I'm going to stamp, grab all my stamp pads here with some Versamark. And let's see here. One of the large daisies. One of the smaller daisies. I guess it's a medium daisy. And I'm going to bring in some clear embossing powder. Okay. heat tool. Just gonna let it heat up for a moment here, and then start blowing it. Still so cool 10 plus years later, and I still think that's awesome. And we'll punch these out. Not with that one. So you guys in Phoenix, it looks like you got some storms the other day. Finally. Did the massive everyone wash their car on the same day work? There we go. Not sure if I'm going to want those double or not, but let's see how we go. This is Shaded Spruce ink. I see. Okay. Like I said, it's a concept, and where I envision some things is not where it's going to wind up, which is fine. Okay. I like that better, I think. Hi, Meredith. Sorry, it's thinking and creating at the same time. Doesn't, whoa, lead to much talking. That was weird. I think I stuck that into some water at some point yesterday by mistake when I was playing with some things. Hello, Chrissy. Thanks for joining me. I don't usually, I'm doing this in a weird order because I'm making it up as I go, but I think this one I'm going to do the sentiment in black and see how I like that. And like I said, this sentiment is from the Cup of Christmas stamp set. It says Sweet Christmas Wishes. And I'm using my Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, my favorite adhesive for most things. Oh, come on. Sorry, grabbed the wrong sheet. I knew I was going to do that. There we go. Hey Wendy, thanks for sharing. And I will put it on this one. I feel like I'm just making a mess here this morning. We'll get it. Okay, so there's one, but I thought I would get on there. See about adding one. Oh my goodness. Two. There we go. So there's one. And let's see if I can whip through a couple other versions and see how we go. So that one was stamped in Versamark and embossed with clear. This one is just stamping in Cherry Cobbler, so it won't be glossy, but it'll have a very similar look. I think we'll do those there. Get the Cherry Cobbler off of there. And so this is the new Delicata Golden Glitz metallic ink pad. And if you saw my blog post yesterday, one of them had a sentiment stamped with that. And I thought that would be fun to try here as well. And it is super, super shiny. Uh-oh, I think I'm about to have an announcement here in my apartment. Don't be surprised. There's that one. We're going to let that sit for a minute. Yeah, maybe not on the announcement. This one, I'm using a damp paper towel because the shimmery ink, if it's on the chamois, I think kind of spreads to other things. So right now I'm just using paper towel, but I'll probably dedicate a chamois to, sorry, I can't talk and do today apparently. I'll probably dedicate a chamois to the shimmery inks and then just soak it out and wash it. Hi Karen. So let's punch a couple of these. Just gonna work on the cherry cobbler ones right now, I think. Yeah, that announcement may yet come. So we have a PA system here in the apartment building, and they often announce when they're about to test the fire alarm. And I can hear them click it on and off, but I've heard a couple clicks, but I haven't heard an announcement yet. We'll see. Okay. So we're gonna let that shimmer dry just a little bit more. And then we're gonna do basically the same thing again. I'm gonna try doing this a little more upright and see how I like that. Again, this is the Daisy Lane stamp set. See, I had been thinking about putting the sentiment up there, but I don't think that's going to work out. So, maybe we'll try and glue dot this time. We'll try the cherry cobbler ink for the sentiment this time. Get it all over the thumb. And there we go. Stamp cleaning pad, one of my favorite new things, because it just takes that red and pink ink right off. Look at that. It's just awesome. So have you guys started making Christmas cards or not yet? I feel like I've just really been playing around, not really into production mode yet, which is fine. It's still a little bit early. What do I have here? Anything really the right colors? No. Sorry. Distracted by the blade. I think this time we'll try some of the clear ones of these. Oh, and I still have at least one of the really big ones, which is good. Made an anniversary card. I would love to see pictures of the cards you make, guys. Just absolutely love to see what other people make. So you can email them to me. You can post them on my Nancy's Nifty Notes Facebook page. You can put them wherever you want and I will see them. Whoop. There, so there's 2. I'll pull them all back in at the end and we'll see what we like. And then here are the, can you see how shimmery glittery they are? I'll punch these out now. I wanted to see. Yeah, it smears it doesn't smear on the page. A little bit came off on my hand, but you may remember 2, 3, 4 years ago, we had some metallic inks and they just never dried. They just, you try to heat set them, they just always smeared and it was very frustrating and disappointing. These are much nicer to work with. Oh, you made engagement cards. Is that for your daughter, Jenny? Once more with the shaded spruce and the stem. I just keep changing up the angle a little bit and seeing what I like. We could do that. Oh, for a friend. Okay. I'll do these again. And then this time I thought we might try the sentiment in the gold as well. This one on up. Yeah. For the embellishment on this one, yeah, I think these will work. Let me try one other thing before I commit to that. What do you think? Maybe you can't see them so well with the plastic there. Oh, don't do that. I'm trying to make things easier for people here, and you're not helping. Let's try these for a change. Okay, so I'll move things out of the way and bring the others back in. We'll see what we think. Well, ladies, what do you think? Do you like them all the same? Can you see them? Let's try changing the light a little bit. That helps some. I think they all work. I think I liked. You like the brighter centers. You mean the crystal ones? Trying to see how the light. Okay. See if I can get. Manipulating stuff after the fact here. Well, doesn't really matter. Yeah, so if you come back and you watch on replay, it'll be a higher quality video than the live broadcast, and you might see some more detail on, especially on this one. But yeah. So I would not be embarrassed to send out any of these to people this Christmas. So, yeah, I think any combination that you wanted to do would work just fine. Yeah, so that's what I have today. Remember, there is, well, first of all, the holiday catalog is live starting today. And today is the start of the buy 3, get 1 free designer series paper sale. It is most of the designer series papers out of the annual catalog. I think the Peacock Specialty is the one maybe that is not included. But there's a list, obviously, at the stampinup.com. And if you're in Australia and you don't have a demonstrator, I'd be happy to be your demonstrator. I'm happy to send you the catalogs. If you don't have a copy, please head over to nancysniftynotes.com to check out my online store. You can sign up for my mailing list to get my classes. You can find links to my classes there. If you're in the U.S. catching this and you need a demonstrator in the U.S., drop me a note and I will link you up with one of my buddies in the U.S. And otherwise, I will be back here 1 week from today at 10 a.m. Melbourne time. which is Tuesday evening in the U.S., and hope you will join me again. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.